The number 200 stood out on the white page, stark and demanding. To everyone else, it was a miracle. To Leo, it was a weight, a heavy expectation that kept him trapped in a room filled with nothing but the hum of cooling fans. He pushed the paper aside and reached for his mouse. The screen flickered to life, bathing the room in a cold blue glow. He did not hear the footsteps until the door creaked open. His parents stood in the frame, blocking the light from the hallway. His father held a newspaper, the classified section folded over with a red circle drawn around a bank clerk listing. "Stop this nonsense," his father said, the voice cutting through the clicking of the keys. "You have potential. Use it for something real." He slammed the door, leaving the newspaper on the floor. Leo did not look down. The paper stayed where it fell, ignored. He shifted his grip on the mouse and clicked into a new lobby. The lobby screen loaded, and the world outside the room ceased to exist. He had a tournament to win, and the only numbers that mattered were the ones flickering across his monitor. The tournaments were unforgiving. He entered the first, his mind calculating every possible move, but a split-second error cost him the round. He lost the second and the third with equal speed. Each defeat stripped his bank account further until the balance hit zero. The reality of his situation settled in the silence of the room. He needed to stay connected, to keep playing, but the bills remained unpaid. He looked around the cramped space. The desk was the only thing of value left. He took it apart, bolt by bolt, and hauled the pieces to the street. A passerby handed him a few crumpled bills for the wood and metal. Leo took the money and walked straight to the service provider office. He paid for one more month of high-speed access. He returned to the empty room and set his monitor directly on the floor. He sat cross-legged on the cold carpet, his back aching, his eyes burning. He had no furniture, no savings, and no food in the kitchen. He pressed the power button, the screen illuminating his face in the dark. He was down to his last chance, and he had nothing left to lose. The final tournament lobby pulsed on the screen, a gateway to everything or nothing. Leo adjusted his posture on the floor, his spine protesting the lack of support. He had no more margin for error. If he failed this sequence, the internet would cut off, and the path he had chosen would be closed forever. He checked his connections, his fingers hovering over the keys. The room was deathly quiet, the only sound the steady hum of the processor. He cleared his mind of the empty cupboards and the mounting bills. Every muscle in his hands went rigid as the match timer began its countdown. He was not just playing a game. He was fighting for the right to exist in the world he had built. The map loaded. The starting chime echoed in the small space, sharp and final. Leo leaned in until his nose was inches from the glass. His eyes scanned the HUD, processing data faster than he could consciously register. He made his opening move, a standard setup that concealed his true intent. Tension coiled in his chest. He took a sharp breath, held it, and committed to the first engagement. The gamble was in motion, and there was no turning back. The opponent pushed, overextending into the trap Leo had been building for 20 minutes. Most players would retreat, but Leo leaned forward, fingers dancing across the keys in a blur of motion. He initiated a sequence that broke the game engine's expected pathing. It was a move that shouldn't have worked, a flicker of pure, unadulterated calculation. On his monitor, the opponent crumbled, their defense collapsing under the weight of his unexpected strategy. The match ended in seconds. Leo exhaled, his shoulders dropping. He glanced at the side monitor displaying his stream data. The viewer count, which had sat at 10 for hours, began to climb. It hit 100, then 1,000, then surged past 10,000 in the blink of an eye. The chat feed turned into a solid wall of scrolling text. He watched the numbers tick upward, the digit counter spinning like a fever dream. 50,000, 200,000. He didn't move, his hand still hovering over the mouse. By the time the final tally leveled out, 1 million people were watching the screen. The silence of his room was gone, replaced by the digital roar of a global audience. His life had changed in under an hour. A year had passed since the stream changed everything. Leo was sitting in a quiet office, the hum of his server racks providing the only background noise. His phone vibrated on the desk. He saw his father's name on the display and tapped the answer button. The voice on the other end was clipped, efficient, and entirely unaware of the world Leo now inhabited. His father began to speak, detailing a local bank position, offering $500 a week as if it were a fortune. Leo did not interrupt. He looked at his second monitor, where his latest bank statement displayed a balance of 7 figures. The contrast was sharp, almost absurd. He listened to the suggestion of a life he had long ago discarded, a life of rigid schedules and small ambitions. He did not feel anger. He felt a sudden, sharp clarity. When his father finished, Leo simply laughed. The sound was dry and final. He tapped the end call button, dropping the connection before his father could respond. He placed the phone face down on the desk, leaned back, and turned his focus back to the screen. The game was waiting. He clicked the mouse, and the world outside the room ceased to exist.